Okay, hello, welcome back to another game of chess. Today I'm trying to play some attacking sacrificial. I want to do something exciting. We see a Caro Khan, amazing. D4 here. Give me D5. We'll play E5. Give me Bishop F5. Give me Bishop F5 right now. This is exactly what I'm looking for. They might play like C5 and just be annoying. Or play, I don't know, some C5. Boring stuff. Right, I guess we're going to transpose into an advanced French. We'll play C3 here. And then Knight F6. This is the Paulson attack. But it's the Paulson attack. I mean, well, if E6, it would have been the Paulson attack. But like a move behind for black. Interesting. Okay, we do see Bishop to F5 now. Okay, here I want to play Bishop D3. I want to immediately challenge this Bishop for the light squares here. I don't want it staring down unopposed. Queen D3. And, okay, now this is like a French, like a Paulson French, but with the bishops traded, which is probably a good thing for black, because normally that light squared French bishop is not having a good time. But I've got Queen D3 in. I can castle very quickly. I don't know how many other redeeming qualities of my position there are, but we will castle straight away. If we see Queen B6, which I believe is one of the top moves, if not the top move in these kind of positions, then I think I'm going to go for this idea of A3 B4 to try and refute the pressure down the B file here. We are probably going to see something like Knight G7 to angle for the F5 square, which I don't think there's much we can do about that knight getting to F5. We see okay, well, takes. I'll take with the pawn. We kind of lock up the center here. There we see Knight G7. We will almost certainly see Knight to F5. I see no reason not to just develop my knight. Actually, do I want it to go here? Yeah, I think so. I think maybe B5 and I could angle for the D6 square at some point, perhaps. But I've got to make sure that I'm holding this square. So honestly, what I think I'm going to do is play Bishop E3. Now this may be very ill-advised, but Bishop E3, I kind of don't mind if I give up the bishop here, because I'll take with the F pawn, open the F file, and then play the move E4. And if takes, my knight will get on E4, and then from there be able to access some pretty awesome squares. So hopefully that decision pays off somewhat. I think, you know what? A3, B4. I like this idea. Actually, do I like this idea? Was that remotely necessary? I'm playing like my opponents played Queen B6, but they have not played Queen B6. Don't know if that was a good decision. It remains to be seen. B4, I'm just a little worried because A5 early. But if ever takes, I'm not too concerned. Yeah, this is the thing. The knight's now going to angle for the C4 square, which is relatively concerning because I can't play B3 right now because that'll be taken. What I believe I can do, though, is just kick it with B3 after the fact. So, we'll just bring this knight back. You know what? I don't need this knight defending the pawn anymore. This knight here has abandoned attacking the pawn. Why would I defend it? I think if I go here, knight takes, pawn takes, that is a passed pawn reinforced by a rook. Probably not the wisest decision to give my opponent access to such a strong thing. I might just play B3 though. Or completely ignore it and play like G4. Okay, here we go, G4. Random pawn launch, attack the knight. Kind of force them to take my bishop because otherwise where else is the knight going? Maybe H4 actually. Really didn't even consider H4. Because I was thinking, you know, Bishop H6. Yeah, okay, H4, wow. That is intriguing. Well, F4. We're pushing pawns, we might as well do it properly. I'm thinking Knight F3 here. I'm a bit worried about letting this knight in, but honestly, is the main action going on over here? Maybe not, if I just ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. So we're going Actually, wait, what am I threatening? Knight f3? Am I threatening to take this? Because just bishop takes. And if ever I play like g5, it's going to be h6. Although I'm hoping my opponent's king gets left in the center. So, you know what? Bishop f2. We're going to leave this knight here, trying to counteract this knight on a5 here. And my point is that I'm going to try and play f5. Step the king across to h1 and play like rook g1. Which, ooh, h5 is quite committal. Ah, but if I go here, you just come back to f5. So if I take and you play bishop takes and I go here, I like that more. If my opponent wants to take here, I'm just going to play bishop g3. Okay, yeah. Now we're going to go g5. If you play f6, I can take here. And my argument is, and this may be a very frail argument, but how are you getting this bishop back safe? Am I not just going to be able to, like, attack it? I think h5 is quite a committal move. And, I mean, attacking with the... No way. Cannot be a good move. Check. Right, we're going check. I don't care. I'm not even going to calculate. There's two moves here. Or you go here and just give me check. I'm not having it. This is a terrible move. No one will change my mind that this is a bad move. The king moves again. Never really a good sign. And now I can just take this with the queen, which I'm going to do because I'm now threatening to take this pawn with the queen. If queen takes here, okay, just give me all your pawns. If you really want to give me all your pawns, be my guest. Go here and give me your queen as well. Thank you very much, and good game. Wow. Well, that happened quite quickly. Okay, so here we are in the analysis. Now, I'm not exactly sure how, but the engine is telling me that I played this game with a 94% accuracy here, which, honestly, I felt like I kind of stumbled through that game a bit. But apparently there were actually very minimal inaccuracies. There were 2 inaccuracies, in fact, on my behalf, and 0 mistakes, 0 blunders. And in fact, that idea of g4, f4 was actually sound, if not the best idea. So anyway, let's go through the game. e4, c6, a Caro-Kann, d4, d5, and e5, the advanced Caro-Kann here. I was hoping for bishop f5. A mate of mine recently showed me some very exciting stuff against bishop f5 that I've been working on. So I'll share that with you guys in the near future. I believe my current score with this new weapon is 7.5 out of 8. I think I've got 7 wins and 1 draw having played this. Anyway, foreshadowing for a different video because my opponent played c5, c3, knight c6, knight f3 here, and my opponent should have taken here, but this is where the first inaccuracy of the game occurs. It was bishop f5. Apparently I should have just taken, and I believe after takes, if e6, I just go b4, right? Let's turn on the engine and just clarify that I'm not waffling. Yeah, b4, hold on to the pawn. Probably I can play knight d5 at some point, or rather knight e4, sorry. And actually I could hold on to this pawn. I kind of have a bit of a blind spot in terms of taking this pawn ever in this kind of pawn structure, because generally speaking, if e6 has already been played, you don't actually want to take this, because first of all, you're going to isolate your e5 pawn, and that's going to be overextended and weak. Secondly, this bishop's just going to develop pleasantly. So I didn't really even consider taking this. I will obviously work on that in the future, but I instead played bishop d3. And after this trade here, we saw e6, kingside castle's best move, and then takes, knight g7, knight c3. This is all seeming relatively best. And I could have played knight back to e2 here to defend this pawn. I instead went for bishop e3. But the engine's kind of evaluating this all at, 0.0 or near enough. Bishop e3 wasn't as critical as knight e2, but oh well. If they did take, my plan was to take with the f pawn, which the computer kind of likes. And then the idea was to hopefully, say we see some continuation, I go for like this, and if we see takes, I was going to maybe take with the knight. And if you castle, I'm going to try and like put some pressure on this way, use my open f file. Maybe there's a scenario where I can like lift this rook up and over and play knight to f6. That was my general idea, but we didn't see that. We instead saw bishop to e7. I played just a3, which is apparently the engine's top move. Okay, I mean, yeah, apparently a3, engine top move. Fair enough, call me stockfish. We saw knight here, and I should have gone for queen b5 check. I mean, all of this is very much staying within sort of the 0.5 to minus 0.5 bracket, which largely speaking is pretty insignificant at my level at least. And even to a lot of grandmasters, a 0.2 advantage doesn't mean too much. So we saw rook to c8. I went for g4, but it doesn't hate g4. I kind of thought they might hate g4 because that looks outrageous. But apparently not. g4, they could have taken here, but instead they went knight h4 and then f4 best move. Oh, that is beautiful. And here my opponent should have played h5. The point being that if h5 here, then if I push past, you can go back to f5. Yeah, but when they played h5 after letting me, yeah, they go here. Kind of a waste of a move, clearly trying to copy my ingenious prophylaxis with a3. I go bishop f2, which is the best move, awesome. Again, I wasn't sure of any of this like string of moves, but apparently the engine is absolutely loving it. And then after we saw h5 here, the problem is that I can take first, and after bishop takes, play g5, and then this bishop is it just can't get back in. And you can't play f6 as we saw because of, well, the critical punishment that I then delivered. So you've then got to go for like knight c4, and at that point I'm just going to probably go after this bishop, and there's no way of saving it. If you sacrifice the bishop, I will take, and this might look exciting, but just king h1, rook g1. I mean, if you castle and let me play a move like rook g1, this is not looking good for you as black. I can maybe even bring the other rook open over, lift it, get the knight involved. Queen's already here. Yeah, that is looking horrible. And so my opponent, I mean, they saw their bishop was trapped. They tried to resort to f6, but then immediately, whenever you play f6, you've got to worry about this diagonal to the king, especially if the king's uncastled. Even on move 18, punishing that castled, or that uncastled king rather, with queen g6 check. And then I was really expecting the king to come here, to which I was just going to try and break all this open, get the knights in and involved, you know, get the rooks on the e file, etc. But they went across, allowing me to pick up this pawn with check, and then yeah, king c6, and the engine wants me to take with the pawn and then probably try and promote here, or maybe just take with the pawn, go knight f3 and put my knight on e5. But I decided to take with the queen. Point being, if you trade queens, it's just a hopelessly lost game. You know, there's no way you're coming back from that kind of material deficit when you're down queens. There's just no compensation whatsoever. And then obviously after the move queen to b6, I was able to take here on e6, forcing the king, literally the only move, back to c7 from where my queen is hanging. But that is okay because we can go check, we can fork the king, fork the queen. They obviously can't take my queen, and my opponent resigned here because if they go king d8, I just checkmate them instead of even taking the queen. And if they go for the only other legal move, king here, then I mean I can just take their queen for free. They have no compensation. I have 4 connected pass pawns as well as a queen, and yeah, this would have been a completely finished game. So that is a 94% accurate game. Let's just go back to the idea of g4 here and then f4. That's super. That's fun. That's very fun. And then going after this knight and then just locking out that bishop. Awesome stuff. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you learned something from it. It was quite exciting to play. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget, like and subscribe, all of that stuff to help out the channel. I really appreciate it. See you in the next one. Comment something nice about my trim. Bye.